Off the ball, Tom Lockyer's gone down here. The referee has stopped the game. Looks like it could be a very nasty situation.
I couldn't speak and I couldn't move, so instantly I knew it was different, and I was trying to just process where I was at, what was going on.
You can see Rob Edwards running onto the pitch looking very concerned. He's trying to make room for the paramedics, beckoning the players away.
I remember just thinking, I could be dying here.
This is one of those situations where all we can do is wish for the best.
I can see instantly that they're a lot more panicked than they were before.
The stadium has fallen completely silent.
I wouldn't be here without the paramedics and the people knowing CPR that day.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bournemouth. Team news for the Hatters today. Tom Lockyer captains the side, which remains unchanged from last weekend's result.
Obviously, since this happened, there's been loads of time for me to think and digest and try and find excuses, answers, just anything really. But just another game, another day for me.
The Hatters ran Manchester City close at the weekend. The fans have travelled in good spirits and fully packed out the 1,600 strong Luton Town away end.
We started well, and Eli scores a great goal.
It's an early corner for the Hatters. Alfie Doughty with the in-swing and delivery to Elijah Adebayo, who heads home. The Hatters lead inside 3 minutes.
And yeah, everything's going sweet. And then I remember after the goal, running up to the halfway line. It was a jog really, and then just remember going really lightheaded, and it was really similar to what happened at Wembley. And the next time, I was like, "Oh, I'll be okay in a minute. Like, it'll be fine." And then I woke up, and all the staff are there, the paramedics are there. As soon as I woke up, I knew it was different from the other time.
Lockyer still receiving medical attention on the pitch. It's a real hush around the Vitality Stadium. Everybody just hoping that the Luton captain is okay.
Instantly I woke up, at Wembley I woke up from a dream, and I was fine straight away, and I wanted to get up and walk off and carry on playing or whatever. And this time I woke up from a nothing, and it was I could see and hear and feel everything going on, but I couldn't speak and I couldn't move. So instantly I knew it was different, and I was trying to just process where I was at, what was going on. I can see instantly that they're a lot more panicked than they were before. And there was a lot more intensity in what they were doing, and obviously I want to give a massive shout out to them, because it's incredible what they do anyway, but to be able to do it under that pressure. And I think the hardest thing, I spoke to a lot of the medical since, and the hardest thing for them was knowing me as a person, and they said it's almost easier when you don't know someone and you don't know the life that is at risk. So for them, knowing me and being friends was obviously a lot harder for them. So for them to then manage under the pressure and the whole situation, and as well as they did, I'll be forever indebted to them. Incredible people, amazing. I can't speak highly enough of them, and so incredibly lucky that without them, I might not be here today.
The referee has instructed the players to head down the tunnel into the dressing room as Tom Lockyer's name rings around the Vitality Stadium.
So when I first woke up and I couldn't move and I couldn't speak, I remember just thinking, I could be dying here. And I don't know whether it was the fact that I couldn't move and I couldn't speak, that there was just no emotion, it was just an emptiness, and that was it. And then it felt like an eternity until I could speak again. It probably wasn't even that long, but it felt like an eternity, and then I could finally speak again. And then I remember I could finally move again then as well, and I just wanted to move and just speak and And I remember saying to Chris, what's gone on? And he said, oh, you've collapsed again. And then I just went, oh, well, that's my football career done. And that's when I burst out crying. And it's weird because 30 seconds earlier I thought I was dying and there was no emotion. And then I think my football career is done and I burst out crying. So it's just so hard to compute the whole emotions of the day, what went on, how I should be feeling now. You know, I almost feel a little bit guilty that I feel fine. And that's almost like mentally that is, and it's almost harder now that physically I feel fine, yet I'm not allowed to do anything. It would almost be easier for me if I was feeling in a certain type of way or really bad inside, or like pains, whatever, but because I feel so normal, it's almost hard, makes it harder for me to process what's going on. But that being said, I almost feel bad for the people who had to watch it as well, because obviously I'm just there and I'm just living it, and I just wake up, I'm in hospital, blah blah blah, and I've spoke to a few of the boys since, and the silence in the stadium that day when it happened is something that they said will live with them forever.
The whole stadium sits in silence, everybody inside anxiously awaiting any kind of positive news.
Obviously my family was at the game as well, and they've gone through it a lot more than I have, how I feel at the minute anyway. So honestly, I couldn't tell you how I'm feeling, how my emotions are, because it's so hard. These things, everyone deals with them differently, and almost I think being an athlete helps you to deal with these things better than if I wasn't. You have to deal with disappointments and whatever in football, and I know this is completely different, but I've been able to, I'm not going to say it's been easy because it hasn't, but if you ask anyone who knows me, for instance, I spoke to a geezer, his old man sent me a letter saying, my son has had the same thing you've had and he's in a really bad place, could you have a phone call with him? So I rang him up and we had a nice long chat, and all throughout he just kept saying, I can't believe how positive you've been. I think I'm really lucky in terms of mentally I've been strong throughout this whole process, and people like himself has really struggled. So for that, I'm incredibly fortunate, because like I said, there's no set way of how you deal with these things.
Would you say since that day, do you view life differently or similar or the same to previously?
This is another one, and then I know like people watching this can be like, oh, well you're silly or whatever, but no, like I'm still here, I'm still fine, I feel normal. If anything, now I've got the ICD implanted, I'm safer more than I've ever been. I wouldn't have to wait, say touch wood this never happens again, but say it did, I wouldn't have to wait for someone to come and shock me. Like what happened on the pitch, that would just go off. So in a way I feel safer. Obviously I feel blessed to still be here. But not like in a mad sense. It's so weird, honestly. It's hard to explain. It really is. I just feel normal. It's the best way to put it. I just feel like myself. I just feel normal still. Which is, yeah, it's weird, isn't it, after everything that's happened. So, yeah, I don't know really what else to say. I'm just me.
So I guess that leads into the next question of what are the plans for the future?
TBC. Yeah, this isn't something you can rush. So obviously there's inspirations out there, Ericsson and Daley Blind, etc. But first and foremost, health is the number one priority. So it'll all be down to what the doctors say, and they're not in a position to say that at the minute. So it's hard for me to speak on that subject. What I can say is I've been enjoying some time off and relaxing, and just doing some normal stuff. Like I said to you before, a little bit of DIY here and there. Getting the house tip top. So yeah, it's just been different. It's been nice, but yeah, I can't really speak on that in a minute.
A heartwarming moment prior to kick-off as club captain Tom Lockyer made his way onto the pitch, received a hero's welcome from those in the stands. A lovely moment to a man that means a lot to this football club.
Last week you got to see the fans again for the first time since that day at Bournemouth when you come onto the pitch before the Brighton game, and You're in the dugout at Sheffield United at the weekend. How is it for you being on that other side of the game?
Yeah, it's different. I didn't actually want to be in the dugout. Jazz almost made me go down and be there, but yeah, I just wanted to go under the radar, to be honest. Just enjoy the game and in the support like every other fan. So yeah, somehow I've ended up on the dugout in like my tracksuit, and I just looked a mess. So I didn't really want to be there, but it was nice. Obviously, result aside, it was nice being there and seeing all the lads again. So yeah, it is really nice. But like I said earlier, it's also hard at the same time. Saying wishing that. Obviously, myself never really having any major injuries. I know I had 3 months off before with a little ankle injury. Apart from that, that's the longest I've ever been out of football. So yeah, for me now, just getting my head around the fact that I won't be there for a while or maybe at all. So yeah, it's quite hard to deal with.
Against Brighton, you had a tear in your eye walking around that pitch and applauding all 4 sides of the stadium. What was that emotion like for you?
Yeah, that was another one really. I kind of went down the tunnel and they were like, "Are you all right just to walk out on your own?" And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine, I'll be sweet. Like, not really thinking of what to expect or anything. And then as soon as I went out then and seen the reception I had, it was honestly something I can say will live with me forever. I've been quite lucky. I've not been emotional this whole time since the incident, and yeah, I don't know how I didn't cry that day. I certainly had a few tears in the eyes, and that was a very special moment for me. Obviously my family were at the game as well watching, and I know it meant a lot to them as well. So honestly, I can't thank everyone enough since what's happened. The support I've received, my family have received, everyone has been so incredibly generous with their time, with their support, with everything moving forward really. So yeah, to kind of be able to say thank you to the fans, and also thinking in a way as well for them to be able to see that I am fine, I am okay, walking around the pitch looking fine. So yeah, it's a weird one, but yeah, very emotional that day.
And finally, a word for the thousands of people in football and just around the world that wished you well and sent you loads of messages.
Just thank you. Just thank you. And I know I touched on it earlier, but I wouldn't be here without the paramedics and the people knowing CPR that day and the swift response they did. So what I would urge anyone is, if you don't already know, or even if you do, you can have a top up of your knowledge. Please go and learn how to do CPR, because it really does save lives. And if this message can just help one person learn CPR, then hopefully that can be the case. But just imagine, if that was someone that you loved and you were helpless in that situation because you were too busy to find 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time to learn CPR, then I know that would not be a nice feeling. So I'm urging everyone to try and learn CPR. Spread the message. It does save lives. It really does.
Given the incredibly difficult circumstances this afternoon, the game has been suspended. Our last